I told myself last time I did a community video, I'll see how this video performs, and if it performs poorly, I'll wait until next year. So here we are.
Community. Do I really have to explain it to you again? Fine. Community college, main cast which has been sliced in half due to circumstances, Jeff the cynic, Annie the perfectionist, Britta who's the worst, Abed who's autistic, Chang who's crazy, and Dean Powelton who's just a bit not right in the head either, but in a different way.
Now, a fun thing about Community is that you can really split it down the middle, with seasons 1 to 3 being what I like to call the golden era, and seasons 4 to 6 being the weird era. What makes this era weird? Well, season 4 was when Dan Harmon got fired and a bunch of important directors and writers left with him in protest, and Dan Harmon was replaced by these two gentlemen who once made a TV show about adopting a Pakistani kid in the early 2000s, and it goes exactly in the direction you would think. This led to all the characters acting extremely out of character. Yeah, this season sucks ass. Season 5 brought back Dan Harmon and most of the important people who left, but because so much damage was caused by season 4, it felt a bit hollow. Not to mention they were down 2 cast members after Chevy Chase and Donald Glover left.
So what makes season 6 weird? Well, Drew Gooden talks about it much better in this video, but essentially, this was during the beginning of the fall of network TV, and since Community had been struggling to pull a substantial viewership for its entire lifetime, NBC decided that when bringing back Dan Harmon didn't bring viewership back up, that they would just kick Community off NBC. But Dan was determined to bring into fruition his mantra of 6 seasons and a movie, and they found a service they could host their 6th and final season on. That service was Yahoo Screen. Yeah, remember Yahoo? Like Yahoo Answers? Well, they had a streaming service, and if you haven't heard about it, don't worry. It dissolved in 2016 and blames the acquisition of Community for its demise. Personally, I think the reason it crashed and burned was because it was Yahoo fucking Screen. So season 6 is already shooting with a smaller budget, and also let's have another cast member drop out. Why not? So with all of that, they really had to change how Community was as a show. Despite all of the odds being against them, I think it succeeds at being a very funny season of TV, despite what Nerdstalgic might tell you.
So let's do what we do in every one of these videos and talk about the episodes. Why isn't it cutting? I said everything I needed to say. No, I'm doing this one alone! Fine. And joining me today will be my friend, Connor.
Hi, I'm Connor. I talk about everything and anything. Season 6 of Community is a surprising treat for me. This is a good season. I really think there are characters in this season that really help put a little bow on the end of Community. Is it weird that it was on a streaming site that's no longer available? Yeah. But are we surprised because it was Yahoo?
No.
But yeah, get ready for Gug and I's really more awesome talk through about all these a lot of the episodes.
Ladders is a fine episode. This episode introduces us to Frankie. I like Frankie. I like how she acts as a foil to this normalized insanity that exists within the show, and it allows comedic beats that we've gotten used to be elevated by a new straight man, because Jeff isn't a straight man anymore. He hasn't been one since season 2.
I wish Britta wasn't dumb. They really made her dumb this season. A little bit of flangelization there. Didn't really start. If you look at season 1 and season 6 of Britta, you know who really got affected by the gas leaks, and it was her, unfortunately.
Anyways, Frankie is too good at her job, which makes everyone hate her and act insane as they always do when open up a speakeasy in the back of Shirley's sandwich place. Weirdly, Abed, of all people, decides that Frankie is maybe not so bad and works with her for a bit.
Introducing Frankie was the best decision. She's great in this season, but unfortunately she is the start of the end of Community. That's her placement in the show. If we're looking at this of the meta lens that every single person in the show kind of has a placement in the form of a TV show, Frankie is the show becoming more closer to reality. She wants this community college to be a better college, and people think she's crazy for that. I like how her and Abed's friendship works in the sense that, unlike Kid Named Finger, she treats him like an adult. Anyways, if you guys are wondering what I'm going to rate it, 3 out of 5 Frankies. Thank you very much. Back to you guys.
Frankie inevitably finds the underground bar because it's an underground bar, and accidentally talks down to Abed, which leads to her having a bit of a freak out and quitting.
Shut up, Leonard. You are old, and you deserve less because of your age. I don't actually believe that. I'm trying to.
But because she's probably the only person at Greendale who's good at her job, Jeff and Abed have to do a montage of apologies to win her back. Overall, strong season opener. Not much more to say.
Vadim has bought a scammy VR system, and Britta is mad that most of the money she owes people has been paid off by her parents. Vadim is hilarious in this episode, from the childlike wonder about sorting files in VR to the stupid way he shuffles in that tube to him constantly saying Jesus wept.
Jesus wept. Jesus wept. Jesus wept. Stop saying Jesus wept.
He's just great. We meet Britta's parents in this episode, and it turns out that they're actually exceedingly nice and friendly people. And I could talk about how sometimes shitty parents will change as people, but in doing that, deny ownership of trauma they left upon you. And maybe Britta isn't entirely crazy, but also it's just really funny how much Britta loathes these two. We also get to meet our second new main cast member, Elroy, who we'll talk about later, because he doesn't do anything in this episode. Chang's whole joke in this episode is showing off the places that isn't the nurse's office, about a cat that bit his hand that looks worse each time, and yeah, it's really funny. Good episode. The season is really starting to find its footing.
Abed saying that Jeff is a pedophile on the camera immediately cutting to Annie, whether intentional or not, is really funny. The plot of this episode is that Greendale had a dog graduate from the school and City College is running an attack ad about it, and the committee is trying to defend against the ad. That's all you need to know.
The concept of this episode is really good. The idea of a dog in your college and almost getting a degree is funny. Every time I watch this episode and I see Annie go into Frankie's arms like in tears, I laugh. Once again, Britta's going through it. She poos her pants. She used to be smart.
This episode is straight up just really good. Solid jokes throughout, and aside from some melodrama about Annie wanting to leave Greendale for City College, it's just all around good. It made me ask myself one thing though. What is Elroy's character depth? I'd say each character community is deep in some way. They're multifaceted people. And Elroy is old and good at computers and old. Most of his lines are him being smart, saying something old, or occasionally saying something completely nonsensical. Like with Buzz Hickey, I know what his character is. He's literally just Mike Ehrmantraut if he wasn't a dirty cop. But with Elroy, I just can't assign any depth to him. That doesn't make him not a good character. In fact, I probably like him more than Kid Named This Joke Is Old as Hell, but he's probably the least developed character in the show. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, this episode is really good. Vadim getting catfished by a Japanese kid pretending to be Jeff is funny. Chang is doing something funny as always. And the plot of the episode is that a dog graduated from Greendale. Probably the first episode of the season I would call truly great.
Before this video starts, I just want to clarify that I am an ally. First thing first, we're talking about the B plot of this episode and how bad it is. Basically, Chang or Ben, I don't care, and Annie's trying to get him to do stuff because he is mentally unwell, and they sign up to be in a play together. So they're doing the play together, and the director of the play is mentally, basically assaulting. He does assault him. He pours hot water on Ben or Chang's head. I don't know, I just kind of hate this whole side plot, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm just kind of like, oh. The much better A plot is the school board confronts the dean asking if he is gay, and they basically, if they would give the dean the job on the school board if he comes out. The part I really enjoy about this episode is the argument or the discussion around using your identity to move yourself forward. Yes, there is good things to that, be it that you can now have a voice, or there's someone who is similar to you who has a voice. But the other downside of it, and it's kind of shown in this episode, is that there will be more people who are mad at you for doing your job. But yeah, no, people get mad at the dean, who is now on the school board as the gay dean, because he is not allowing the Wi-Fi to come back because he cares about little baby birds. And people are upset that the gay dean isn't letting the Wi-Fi come back on because of baby birds. But yeah, no, people get mad at him because of his identity. That he's not his full identity. And yes, there are people who make the counter argument that your identity should not be used to help you go forward. But unfortunately, we low-key live in a world where your identity does help you, which it shouldn't help you. You should just have a job because of you went to school for this, or the work you've done. The episode doesn't really go into that. It's more about the dean coming out as a politician and people accepting him for that. Funny, people are people. Okay, it's that hard. I don't want you guys to forget that I am a hashtag ally, but this episode, hashtag isn't it.
Greendale has prisoners rolling around on iPads, and Jeff clashes with a murderer who calls him on his bullshit, but is also kind of a bullshitter himself. Meanwhile, Britta wants to throw a party in Annie's apartment, so she tells Abed to make a movie about a party, and Abed does the Abed thing of being crazy. Very little to say. Jeff and this murderer is a good dynamic. Abed's flashback with Troy is funny.
Hey, Annie. I'd like to make this moment worth popping back to from some point in the future.
I don't know what that means.
There. Don't worry. It'll pay off. Hey, Troy.
And that's about it. Honestly, kind of a mid-episode for this season. Not particularly bad, just not memorable.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Really great. In this episode, Greendale gets their mainframe penetrated and their data stolen, kind of like the hit movie War of Worlds, without aliens, of course. And this data leak leads to the committee's dirty secrets being leaked to the world and each other. I mean, this isn't necessarily a new concept for Community, but I still think it's really fun. I think Frankie has some great lines.
If you people were trapped on a tiger-infested island with no food or water, you would judge every ship that came to save you.
This shitty-ass offensive comedian is really funny, and this episode does reveal that Buzz Hickey is in fact dead, so rest in peace. And also we get this cop who is always a treat with his cynical kid sidekick. And yeah, it's a relatively easy gag, have a jaded cop, but the joke is that they're 9, but it still made me giggle once or twice. And the whole message of the episode is something, I guess. I guess there's something to be said about free speech that isn't outwardly said in this scene somewhere. I don't know. Great episode.
Subway is back, and he's guerrilla marketing for Honda, and also his name isn't Subway anymore. And in the B-plot, the committee wants Elroy to like them, but it turns out that he just doesn't like Jeff. This episode is good. The return of Rick doesn't feel like a needless callback like when they brought back the Germans in season 4 or did Jeff's Unforgettable Christmas in season 5. It feels natural, and it introduces the element of Honda's brand deal with Community, which I think works really well. They continually sneak in these talking points about Honda's cars, and it works because it's so egregious that it's funny. Sometimes they go a bit too far, but I think this is really funny. It's funny for the same reasons that the Subway sponsorship was funny. And the whole idea of Honda basically having this cult of guerrilla marketers just makes me laugh. And the Dean in this episode going completely crazy and buying as many Honda products as he can is really funny. And anytime Frankie opens her mouth, it's also really good.
You're so stupid. You have no idea. And you're the only one who has no idea, because guess why? Don't answer that. You'll get it wrong.
Now with the Elroy plot, it's fine. Like, this is a perfectly passable B plot, and that's all I have to say about it. Okay. This episode begins by saying Chang left Greendale to go to Hollywood after acting in a viral ham commercial. And the first 3 times I watched this episode, I'd always have this moment of, wait, fuck, did Ken Jeong also leave the show around this time? But thankfully he comes back at the end. Spoiler alert! God, I'm so sorry for spoiling! Anyways, the committee is told to make a movie with Chang out of recycled clips that Abed had from a short film. And then the episode is a bunch of characters who don't know how to improv, improvising a movie. And then Jeff has to have a breakdown at the end for no reason, and then the whole movie thing falls through anyway. It should probably be just a basic rule of filmmaking that if all of your characters don't want to be in this movie in-universe, then it's not really gonna be entertaining. And any entertainment value comes from randomness, surface-level commentary on sci-fi movies, and the low production value of it all. Also Chang. Chang is the only consistently entertaining character in this episode. And Jeff's freakout, it's just poorly done. Jeff is panicking about the fact that he's probably going to stay at Greendale forever and everyone will surpass him, but 1, it's not even set up correctly, and he randomly in this scene decides to steal the laptop and re-edit the movie to keep in his monologue, and 2, this conflict is explored 100 times better in an episode that's coming up later, so this episode really has no value. It doesn't develop anybody, it's not entertaining for the bulk of it. Yeah, just kind of not good. Disappointed.
The group minus Jeff and Frankie and the Dean sign up for a grifting course taught by Matthew Berry about grifting, and they get grifted. They buy suitcases, and Matthew Berry's like, "You gotta get another suitcase for this course," and everyone's kind of like upset about it. But anyway, so then Jeff, he meets the Matthew Berry in his office, and in his office he finds out that Matthew Berry is a dick, and so now Jeff wants revenge. They get grifted in the end. I really do think this is like either the best episode of the season or the second best. I think It's a toss-up between Wedding Videographer and Grifting 101. Listen, I'm brave, and I bought the whole season of Community Season 6 on YouTube, and I wrote down in the comments, this is the best episode of Season 6. And you can fight me. I think it is. This episode is very similar to Conspiracy Theories and Interior Design. And if you like that episode, you know when they shoot each other, it goes on for a long period of time, and it's funny. You're like this one a lot. Hey, you're like this episode. Because Matthew Bear's in it, and he's a great actor and a great singer. So I can't sing, I have a cold. Would recommend this episode. Listen, I haven't been rating these episodes at all, but this is a nice 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, no alcohol required.
I feel like this is one of the episodes that when I first watched it at age 13, I thought it was absolutely brilliant because it was conceptual, and that meant good to 13-year-old Gug. And watching it now, I mean, it's good. The committee is stuck in Elroy's RV with a giant fiberglass hand that Vadine impulse bought, and everyone is getting mad at each other. Meanwhile, Abed is trying to flash back to explain how they got into this situation and is failing. And this episode is just funny. I like the beginning. I like how annoying Vadine is. I like everyone bickering with each other. It's just a really funny episode and not much else. It's not the most conceptual episode in the world. I wouldn't call it brilliant like others. It's just funny.
Finally, paintball. We figured out cool again.
They made paintball cool again.
We finally figured out a way to make paintball cool again.
Yeah, they brought back the paintball. Is it good? Yes. Elroy and Britta work together pretty well. Jeff is here. I like how they're trying to stop the games for Frankie. You know? Well, Jeff is. And Jeff is basically saying, we have to grow up. I don't know. They brought back paintball and it works. Much better than they did in season 4. The highlight of this episode is probably the homage to Captain America the Winter Soldier, which, you know, that's funny because the original paintball episode was directed by the Russo brothers, who directed all the Avengers movies. It's good.
You know, in my other videos about Community, my longest segments would usually be about episodes that I dislike. So I'm glad to announce that the longest segment in this video will be me just gushing about how much I love this episode. I'm gonna go out and say this is my favorite episode of season 6. Immediately, it's a documentary episode, and I think I'm just a sucker for the format. Every single documentary episode that Community has done has been good, including in season 4. It's just so classic. So this episode is about Garrett's wedding to this girl Stacy, who we've never seen before. I love what this episode does with group dynamics. Like at the wedding, Frankie is trying to distance Annie from Jeff because gross. Love it. Also, this episode does the whole the main group are actually assholes thing that they tried to do in season 4, but this time it's actually good. Elroy's whole thing about encouraging white people is very 2015, but it's still also really funny.
Now that's a container for liquid. I never felt like a...
So Garrett's brother, Bones, who I can appreciate is just Eric Nielsen with a wig on, relapses on the day of the wedding and can no longer do the best man speech. So Jeff volunteers to do the speech instead, and all the pins are lined up for Jeff to completely botch this. Everyone in the group are being bad wedding guests even after they got directly called out. Jeff's speeches are famously vapid and empty. It's just a setup for disaster. But as Jeff starts to speak, it's actually genuine. He's saying stuff about family and connection, and it's all going great until he tries to reunite Garrett's great aunt Polly and Stacy's Meemaw, only to discover that they are the same person and that Garrett is in fact marrying his cousin.
And now, this is a man that knows how to marry his cousin.
Fucking hilarious. After this revelation, the group talks about how they low-key bring out the worst in each other, and this is the first time in this season where the group almost breaking up didn't feel over-dramatic. But then Chang gives this speech to Garrett and Stacy about how they should stay married because it's legal in this state, and it doesn't matter because Garrett won't be bullied any less, and I'm not doing it justice. This is legitimately a great speech. And hilarious that Chang's single moment of clarity in the show is to give the fucking incest speech. And the speech works. Everyone is happy. Garrett and Stacy stay married. Hooray! Yeah, this episode is amazing. It's the Save Greendale Committee at their absolute best. It's a Garrett-focused episode, a documentary episode, and it coined the term jimming the camera.
Please don't jim the camera like that.
Absolute cinema. But this episode is also really good. The basic concept of the episode is that Jeff is afraid of staying and working at Greendale forever as everyone around him continues to leave. So at the bar, everyone is giving pitches on how season 7 would go. Britta has them doing some political shit, Vadine has them worshipping him, and Chang's is incomprehensible nonsense. And it's just really, really good. In the beginning of the episode, there's a scene in which Abed pulls out a ticking metronome, but you can actually see the metronome in this shot before he pulls it out, so that means that this episode is good actually. Everyone's pitches are all really funny, although I'd have to say that Vadine's is probably my favorite, because he not only brings Shirley back, but also he suggests having a third person of color who we can see sitting in the back doing nothing. Justin Roiland is also in this episode, and the saddest thing about that fact is that he's actually funny in it. You know how I said a few minutes ago that there's an episode that explores Jeff feeling trapped in Greendale way better? This is the episode. Rather than pulling this conflict out of nowhere, instead we have the conflict established at the top of the episode and make it make any sort of fucking sense. Jeff doesn't want to grow up. Jeff doesn't want to be old, which makes sense. He really does try to act like a 25-year-old a lot of the time at age 40. I'll say it, this episode even rectifies the sins of the worst episode of season 5, G.I. Jeff, because it's actually believable that Jeff doesn't want to grow up. Jeff and Annie kiss at the end, which is... I mean, they talk about how the dynamic is weird in the episode, so... sure. And then Chang comes out as gay, so that's sick as hell. Fuck you, homophobes, and I'm very brave for saying that. This episode is an amazing finale for the season and the series. Brilliant.
I think this season of Community is great. I do think Frankie and Elroy carry, Frankie especially. Listen, you watch all the seasons and it kind of feels like Jeff and the cast, the study group, is in charge throughout the whole show. You think everything revolves around them, then Frankie comes and she breaks that format. But she also wants to join these groups. She's curious about them. And I like her friendship with Abed. And the friendship with other people in general. She just seems like a well-adjusted adult. She better be in the Community movie or else I will kidnap Donald Glover. Just in case, I'll kidnap Donald Glover. And this is a joke in case someone kidnaps Donald Glover. And Keith David is just great in everything that he's in, so he's a super good actor. They used him great. When I looked back on what I said about season 5. Season 5 is good. The way I worded it, and you can judge me if you want, I worded it in a way that season 5 is a mattress on the ground. You're close to being on the ground, which is bad, but you have a mattress and you're comfy. Season 6, you're on full bed. You have the comfiest bed you can find. You're in a nice queen. You're an Alaskan king, okay? And you're not used to being an Alaskan king because you went through a rough patch, and now you're not Alaskan king again. And you remembered, oh yeah, this is comfortable. This is why I like the king bed, the Alaskan king bed. Sorry if I can't say Alaskan. And I am gonna be the guy at the party when everyone's talking about Community and which season's the best. I'll be the guy there for like, guys, season 6 is like really good. And then people will all kind of stare at me. But I'm right. There are so many highs in this season. Once again, the Grifting 101, funny episode. Wedding videographer, great. You know, the last 3 episodes are truly the strongest of this season, but it's an enjoyable ride to the end. And if you guys are wondering my opinion on the last episode of Community, I think they did the best thing they could do with the last episode of Community, and talking about possible spin-offs of Community. That's the most Community thing you can do. That makes sense? It does make sense to me. Again, season 2 and then season 6 for me. That is for me, and you're welcome to judge me, but I will not listen to you. I just don't care. I like this season. I like Frankie in this season. I like Frankie and the Dean. Great. They're great, you know? And if Frankie isn't in the movie, I will kidnap Donald Glover as well as Childish Gambino. And this time it's not a joke. Hey guys, I forgot to rate the season as a whole. Listen, if I'm being honest, it's a good 7, but I'm not being honest. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, man.
Season 6 is an extremely different season of Community. I honestly feel like it shares more DNA with season 1, with most of its episodes not being conceptual and just being basic sitcom episodes. Except all these episode plots are so weird that I don't even think I could call them basic. But like, you could really feel the budget in some of these episodes. For some of them, it feels like they have 10 sets max that they cycle between for scenes. And if this is true for pretty much every episode, except for Modern Espionage, which is pretty pretty noticeably where all the budget went. Whenever they tried homages in this season, I think they landed pretty damn well. The grifting episode is good, modern espionage speaks for itself, the big hand episode is funny. It's just really impressive to me that despite most of these episodes feeling kinda cheap, that they're able to be so good. Like, as nightmarish as the circumstances that led to season 6 were, it almost feels like the reduced budget and reduced scope is what the show needed. And I really gotta say, this season is carried hard by the side characters. Vadine is the funniest he's ever been, Frankie and Elroy are delightful, Chang is never not funny in this season. I don't hate the study group in this season, but I feel like most entertaining moments come from these guys. But I guess this video acts as not only a wrap up on season 6, but also a wrap up on my discussion of Community's weird era. So here's what I have to say. The weird era of Community, 66% of it isn't bad, it's just weird. Season 4, overall, I feel neutrally about these things. I think Season 5 is good, and I think Season 6 is great. I think what makes Season 6 just so good for me is the way the season ends. Season 4 starts out semi-decent, and then the second half of the season is some of the most abhorrent, stupid bullshit I've ever seen, except for episode 11. The season finale of Season 4 is considered by most to be one of, if not the worst episode of the whole show. Season 5 is pretty good for but then the last 3 episodes give us this G.I. Joe parody that just falls completely flat on his face. And the season finale is the committee saving the school by finding this old Greendale professor who fucks computers to buy the school from Subway for millions of dollars. It's fucking stupid. Meanwhile, season 6 opens strong, stumbles here and there in the middle, and then the last 3 episodes are some of the best episodes from the weird era. I'd say Wedding Videography rivals Cooperative Polygraphy from season 5. It ends so unbelievably strong that it actually leaves a sweet taste in my mouth for the first time in 3 seasons. So in conclusion, I think season 6 is a damn good season of Community that tees up the show for the movie that will come out eventually, and crushes the other seasons in the weird era. 8.5 out of 10. Hey, welcome to the outro card. Sorry for the darkness. Sorry. I really don't have much to say for this video. I think it's good. I personally honestly enjoy it. I've been on the fence for a while editing it, but after watching it for the last time, I'm like, yeah, no, this is a good video. Especially in comparison to my last 2, which maybe aren't my favorite videos I've ever made. I feel like I maybe didn't do as many jokes in this one as I normally do, and 60% of the jokes I did do are just Deltarune references, so I really hope I can hit that cross-section of people who like mediocre community analysis and Deltarune. I don't know, I'm rambling because I don't have much to say. I like this video for me. Like I'm pretty sure all of my community videos are pretty much just for me because they consistently don't perform well, and I don't care because I like making them. And also, go subscribe to Connor if you think he's funny. He made a video about the Mr. Beast slave labor theme park, and yeah, see you next time.